Hey, this is straight to the truth coming at you. Um, just gonna decide to jump on here and comment about the Savannah Santos and her boyfriend Matthew that was murdered by this Christopher kid um due to a drug transaction going wrong. Allegedly, that's what the news is saying. Um, Evidently, this Christopher and his father, Ramon, was captured last night and arrested. You go to my other video, it shows the arrest and it shows the perp walk. They had a little bit of news conference to what happened and how they came about catching these guys. Right now, I'm going to give a shout out to Taylor Filler. This is his channel, and I was just on here listening to a little bit of what's going on. Okay, so kind of what they're saying is the father's name is Ramon. He has been arrested. His charges so far are interfering with their corpse, which more charges could be brought on later. His bail or his bond is at $600,000. So right now they're saying he's still locked up. The son's name is Christopher. His bail or bond is at 1 million. I think they just his charges are capital murder of Matthew and Santos. So anyway, yeah, they have been arrested. They are being held at the Antonio's jail in Texas. We're waiting for more answers. Evidently, it's a drug deal gone bad. The son of the murderer Hussein was saying that Matthew pulled the gun on him, and him and his girlfriend pulled guns out, and he was able to overcome them and take the guns. I don't know how true that is. It doesn't even sound right, but allegedly that's their story. Also, they were saying that the police got a hold of the girlfriend's cell phone, and that's why one of the way with the address and stuff they were able to catch the perps and went to their house to arrest them. It's a lot going on. I am doing a little research, trying to get information as it comes out. But for right now, let's just hear exactly what's being said here and how far they've kind of gotten into the case.
It's because one of those individuals isn't holding up their end of the bargain. And that is typically a huge no no. No matter what drug you're purchasing, it's a sign of disrespect, it's a sign of trying to get over. And that's what I'm taking this drug deal gone bad to mean. This occurred very late at night. I'm quite convinced, although we'll never have the toxicology, that likely the offender, Christopher, was under the influence. I truly believe that in these situations with these.
So there's just a lot of twists and turns to this case. Hopefully the real truth will come out. Like, we know it was more than just the father helping out his son, or the father and son go, in the cars and the trucks. We know in the truck there was somebody at least in the back seat that handed a towel. You can obviously see it on the recording. I don't know why the cops are not mentioning that. And then they even think that some people think that there was somebody else up in the front seat. So that would leave 3 people in the truck, and the son probably driving the car that he had the victims in. how you could honestly sit in a car with deceased people that you have murdered. You've got to be a sick ass puppy, like for real. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Let's listen to some more.
They're truly, Tyler, low level dealers. They're not dealing huge amounts. They're making a lot of money off of a lot of small sales. And the problem with that is it's really um, the street type of mentality. And money means everything, and life means nothing.
Wow. Well, one of the things that the law enforcement had described the crime scene as early on was a very perplexing scene. They'd mentioned that Matthew had been tortured, and how do you make sense of that?
Well, I think that the reason it was so perplexing was because they saw these two individuals who were shot in the head, but yet they didn't have blood spatter. They didn't have signs that it occurred in that vehicle. And that was perplexing. Remember, also, it was days later, unfortunately, which I still find difficult to handle since the clear alert was put on, although that even was put on quite late. um, Whenever you have bodies that have been there to really begin the decaying process, it's more difficult to, get information directly from that crime scene. Again, we were told early on that cellular phones weren't there, that there were no guns. So I think it was clear to everybody that this occurred someplace else, although it was unclear whether it was in the car or someplace else. And now we know it wasn't in the car.
Which I mean is just horrifying to kind of know what could have possibly have taken place. Another question or thought that I thought hasn't been fully developed or even really talked about much would be the surveillance footage. And there's in cases like this, there's not a whole lot to go off of, and so with lack of information, it leads you to continue to review the little bit of information that's available. And that little bit of information that was available was that security camera footage, which I thought that was maybe where they got the break from. Apparently, it's from his phone. But in that surveillance footage, we saw what we now know probably to be the son driving that vehicle with the victims in it, the dad popping out of his truck, and then it looked like to me, and I could be wrong, and I'd love to hear your perspective on it, but certainly I did a poll earlier today in the chat just asking what they thought, and 73% of people thought this one way, that there was actually a third person involved that was in the back seat that handed the dad a towel. And to me, it was pretty clear my perspective, looking at that footage, what did you see? Why are they saying only two?
Well, I think they're saying only two because that is the information they have so far to charge. But they're also making it quite clear, at least with what I'm reading, that that's all they plan to charge. And so that is what's giving everybody's pause with this video surveillance. Now, I know I toyed with that video and tried to slow it way down, and I even thought there was paper towels possibly handed, the rag handed. And I will caution everybody, and I have to caution myself too. Unfortunately, not having the FBI's amazing tools anymore to break down these videos, it's often really hard to distinguish a lot of what's going on, and it can be quite deceptive. Did or did he reach back, somehow grab that towel? I know what everybody's seeing because it does appear that way, but for me, I take a very cautionary view. And I always preface everything with possibly and appears because unless you have the tools to grind down that surveillance video and really see what's happening, it's hard to speculate.
Well, I would even say it appears as if there's somebody in the back seat, which would then make it feel like there might also be somebody in that front passenger seat. I could be totally wrong. I mean, but it appears to me that that's sort of how it went down. And certainly didn't seem like law enforcement was interested in pursuing an additional lead. I do commend them on a job that was, in my opinion, well done and done quickly. And I know as we study a lot of these cases, this to me was one of those rare cases that ends up hitting the national spotlight. You and I both know there's cases like this on the news somewhere in America and around the world, literally every single day. Why sometimes they hit the national spotlight and capture people's attentions, I don't know. I think probably because this involved a baby that was supposed to be born the day of his death. That that's probably part of the reason why it captured America's attention. But I felt like the San Antonio police did a stand-up job getting to the bottom of this case very quickly.
They really did. I mean, there's so much to go through. Obviously, that video was crucial in, leading them to the proper suspects. Their interviewing skills.
So, with that being said, we're going to continue to collect information. We're going to continue to let the law enforcement do their job and wait to see what they comes out with. And if anything changes, we'll get on here and discuss it and talk about it. We send our prayers to the families of the victim and ask them to, just hold on to their faith that God is with them. And there's a reason why God does things the way he does. This perps, these murderers, they are not going to get away with this. They are not. So hold on to your faith. This is going to be the end of this video. I'll probably be back later if any new news comes about this case. Also, we're going to talk about the shooting at the school in Iowa. I think it's Ohio, or anyway, we're gonna comment about that and figure out what's going on with that. There was a school shooting, and I think it was. I'm gonna find out. I don't even remember, but I saw it passing on my timeline. So we're gonna discuss that later on as soon as I can get some information and do a little investigating to see what's going on with the school shooting that went down this morning. Otherwise, y'all have a good evening. This is Straight to the Truth. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow, and hit that bell so when I post a new video, you'll be the first one to get it. Y'all have a good day. Peace.